Zero. The Open Tabs podcast is back. The Open Tabs podcast has returned. I am Calvin Smith. I am with my main man, Joe Carlos. Joe, you got your Falcons Cup. Tonight's a special night.
It's draft night, baby. It's draft night. Opening night. Draft night means one good thing, though. It means that we're that much closer to the football season.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You did talk me off the ledge with the number 4 pick. I hope I look back on this this episode in October sometime at Mercedes-Benz Stadium after Pitts has caught 2 touchdowns from my fantasy team and my real life team.
Yeah,
I hope I look back fondly when he's an all-pro rookie, because at 4 he better be. I'm just
do we play the Bears this year? I hope not. And that's all I'll really say about that. So we got a special guest tonight, but before we jump into tonight's episode, purposely chosen for this episode, was not on our initial season 2 list, by the way. But we said, hey, look, it's time to do this right now while the iron is hot. But before we jump into that, any regrets from the last episode on Bad Boys?
There were some lines. Shout out to Reese for bringing up certain lines. There were some lines that I just wasn't going to say aloud, but yeah. I love the fact that he brought them up. Some great lines at the Biltmore in the Capone suite.
Yes,
there were some great lines in that film.
Yes.
Yeah, we should have questioned, and you did question the gun action there, because I don't know anything about the gun, so I don't know. So you did question that. So I don't have a regret about it per se, but I that's something I kind of wish I had talked about, some of those lines.
Sure.
But that's or the flunkies or his flunkies. So
yeah,
that was about it.
Yeah. For me, I have the opposite of a regret. I have I'm even happier I said it take about Téa Leoni, because shortly after our episode hit the airwaves, I spoke with my sister Shay, and she was like, I've been feeling the same way about Téa Leoni for years, and I'm glad somebody has finally said how you felt about her. So
you're like Jerry Maguire with the with the document. The things we believe but do not say.
The things we believe but do not say.
It was a mission statement.
Who's coming with me? Dorothy Boyd. All right. Anyway, so
I'll let you have it.
Without any further ado, man. All right. So I was thinking about it, and to this point, arguably, unless you have very strong feelings about Baby Boy, which some people do, we have not done what one would truly consider to be a bad movie, like an entertaining movie, but a bad movie. And again, one can say a lot of things, but the movie we're doing tonight is an incredible film. It is one of my favorite movies to watch whenever it is on. But it was nominated for a Razzie, and I had no idea. It is Roadhouse, 1989's Roadhouse, and we have with us a man who really, if you listen to us, you probably don't need an introduction to him, but I'm going to give him a world-class introduction because of my esteem for him. Tonight we have Morehouse graduate. He graduated with me in 2001.
Sure, I did.
Yes, you did. You did.
It was follow one. But yes, well, it was 01. It was 01 for us.
It was at my ceremony, man. But class of 2000's own.
Yes, that's true.
Washington, D.C., a legend, a man, the myth, the legend. He introduced me to a lot of the finer things in life, including the cashmere sweaters and also fake cashmere sweaters, as it were. My man, Faraji Whalen. Raj, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us tonight, man.
Thank you, Faraji.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be here talking about one of the seminal movies in American cinematography, and just to be around you fellas talking about, kind of this classic is just the highlight, man. It's been a good life, but moments like these just
we must and thank you. We must comment on your natty attire, and if you listen to our podcast and you know how to spell natty, you know what that means. But how Natalie attired you are with such a lovely ascot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and of course the signature open collar as it were, that you have perfected since the Clinton years. And
in many ways, it is Roadhouse that has informed this style.
Oh my gosh, man! Hey, look,
real question. Without Brad Wesley, what would I look like? What would I dress?
I don't know,
man. And I hope
low shirts, sweaters, maybe
a little tweed.
He also wore linen. He wore linen the first time he went to see Red.
Indeed.
He had several shades of brown and taupe.
Yeah.
Just the layering was immaculate.
Immaculate, indeed. With no regard for the rules of the road.
No.
I can't wait to jump into that part. So 1989 was a special time. 1989.
Another summer.
Sound of the fucking drum. All right. 89.
So much good. Let's talk about 89 real fast. We talk about 89 real fast.
Yeah, talk about it.
Okay, this is off the dome. Okay, so for me, June 20, I was 8th grade.
Yeah.
I was 8th grade. That means Faraj was like, oh gosh, 5th grade. It means that you were 4th.
I was 4th.
So right, I was 8th, you 5th, 4th. So no, maybe Raj was 6th grade. Raj was 6th grade. Summer 89. 89. You were 6th. Yeah, you were 6th grade.
And I was summer 5th grade. Yeah.
Summer 5th grade. So to me, everything led up to June 23rd, 1989. Okay. And if you don't know what June 23rd, 1989 is for our listeners, then look it up. But prior to that, you had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade around Memorial Day weekend. You had, if I'm not mistaken, Roger Rabbit that summer, unless Roger Rabbit was the summer before. And if I'm mistaken, I apologize. But Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters 2, When Harry Met Sally, and that might not have been on your radar, but it was, I'm Mr. Rom-Com, so it was definitely on mine.
I watched it last night.
But thank you, as well you should. But June 23rd, Ride with Big Sheldon. But June 23rd was the release of Batman, right?
Yes.
So everything led to that. Of course, other films came out, like I mentioned, there's a number of the Parenthood, Do the Right Thing, a number of other films. And then I don't know what was going on in Hollywood. They were just greenlighting, baby. And this is one of the films, though, that came out that year. And I know I'm missing several. This is definitely one of the films that came out that year.
Yeah.
And there's so many classics for whatever reason that came out.
It might be the best movie year. It might be the best movie year ever.
It might be.
No bullshit.
It might be.
And like when we talk about I'm gonna clown Roadhouse a little bit, but I mean, there's a reason why I watch it a lot, and there's a reason why Raj watches it a lot. There's a reason why you watch it a lot. Other movie like The Karate Kid Part 3, which is kind of
that was 89. No, that was it.
Yes, it was. It came out the same week as Great Balls of Fire on the 30th.
89.
Do the Right Thing. Yeah. 89. Can you believe?
Hilary Swank?
No. Barnes. Mike Barnes and Terry Silver, the one, the forgotten one.
Karate Kid 2.
Karate Kid 3. So 2 is in Okinawa.
Oh, she's another karate kid.
Yeah, the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, she's the next karate. I was gonna say that was Summer 94. I was working in the movie theater.
No, this is the one with Mike Barnes, the karate champ.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm with you now. Okay, sorry. I was like Hilary Swank.
You had Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Lean on Me, like Lover Boy.
Lean on Me.
Yeah,
Lover Boy.
Dream a Little Dream, which but Roadhouse, man,
somewhere in there, Roadhouse sits in there as a unicorn.
And look, man, so Roadhouse was directed. I had to look this up, and I don't know, Raj, if you knew this off the top. I had to look up who the director was. Do you know who the director of Roadhouse was?
A man named Rowdy Harrington.
And that's no better way to say it than a man named Rowdy Harrington, because I looked up the rest of his career up, essentially.
What are his credits? What are Rowdy's credits?
So he started out, his very first credited thing was as an electrician on a movie that I have seen more times than I care to mention on USA Up All Night.
Oh,
Rhonda Shear and Gilbert Gottfried.
Where is Rhonda?
Hats.
I've seen Hats. I've seen Hats. Yeah, of course.
Up
All Night.
Raj, have you seen Hats?
I have not had the pleasure.
Well, but you are familiar with Up All Night, I'm sure, on USA.
I am familiar.
Yeah. So
imagine a time in America when on Friday nights, USA played soft porn
Oh,
without the nudity.
The softest of porn. Bikini Car Wash 1 and 2, back to
But
back.
like that,
And no
was
nudity, no
the
nipples.
norm.
Yeah,
They played
That
soft
was the
porn.
zeitgeist of the moment.
yeah,
It was.
yeah,
Or Elvira on some other channel was on some other channel.
I do remember Elvira.
yeah.
And then when we got to college, it was Dinner and a Movie on TBS, which wasn't like that, but you could sit there. There was a movie going to be on TBS.
Yeah, beans and cornbread.
Beans and cornbread. Sorry, very very different, but
Yeah.
Up All Night.
Up all night.
Heavily suggested.
So he went on to be the best boy for Nightmare on Elm Street,
Oh,
and then his
made his bones.
directorial debut was Roadhouse, and then he followed that up with Gladiator, not the Joaquin Phoenix and Russell Crowe Gladiator.
It's the
but
Cuba Gooding.
the Cuba Gooding Gladiator.
I can see that.
And Striking Distance with our man.
Oh
Bruce
yeah,
Willis.
oh yeah.
And-
All these things were supposed to be like a big deal. Isn't that Bruce Willis on the boat? He's like a boat
Yeah.
cop with Sarah
Yeah.
Jessica Parker.
in Pittsburgh. Yes.
A recipe for success.
And I hope that my good friend Tyson Nisha Smith doesn't kill me. I'm just mentioning Pittsburgh because it was the site of the film. Anytime I mention Pittsburgh, she is very defensive about her fair city. You got 6 rings, man. Chill out. Like,
Beautiful town.
anyway,
I've never been there.
you never been there. I've been there in my mind because of the great house guests with Sinbad, which was also prominently featured in Pittsburgh. And was
I read the August Wilson plays, which is as close as I got.
Yes, I'm really gonna get in trouble. Her son is housebound, by the way. He's on his way to Morehouse, Joe. I'm so excited.
Absolutely, we were very excited.
Second PJ reference about this, but
We're very excited for PJ. Can't
all
wait.
right. So
He's still gonna catch this Pittsburgh. Can't say he gonna know what that's from. Does he have a strong Pittsburgh accent?
no, PJ is between Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like
yeah.
it's like Baltimore, but northern. Two of my best friends from Howard were from Pittsburgh.
They say things
And,
like yins guys and such. It
was a very interesting dialect to pick up.
I'm getting killed now.
By at the same time, I had a friend from Philly who was John. So John.
And young
So I had a friend from Philly and Bull, and then my boys from DC, the jump,
Joe.
and Young,
Yo,
and then I'm on the basketball court, Joe, and I'm
Joe.
throwing him the ball, and it's the guy. It's the guy from
No, the other
street.
Joe.
It's not the people on my
everybody
team.
was Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, Raj, where were you? When did you first see this film? What context? When did you become acquainted with Roadhouse?
Man, that's a good question. I didn't see it in theaters.
Well.
I will bet you a good sum of money. It was either on TBS or on TNT. Those are the options.
Yeah.
Might have been at both at the same time when I was flipping back and forth.
God bless Ted Turner, right?
Because
Yes.
Ted Turner knew Genius when he saw it, and
Yes.
he got those rights,
Yes.
and he put that movie on every goddamn Saturday
Yes.
in America.
If the Braves were on a tape delay on a rain delay for a long period of time,
Oh, God.
Roadhouse is coming on. If it was too long for an Andy Griffith episode, you're getting Roadhouse.
It was Roadhouse,
Yeah.
and you can't turn away.
No.
I
Why
don't
would
care
you?
where you are. I don't care where you are in the movie. Even if it's the end when they're skinny dipping.
It segues perfectly.
Yes. And so what about you, Joe? Did you see this in the theater?
No, I did not. I saw it on HBO, and I saw it on HBO and loved it. Saw it in its entirety on HBO. It was much discussed and talked about, but I don't think I saw the ads and didn't even think to ask or try to sneak into a theater to see it, but definitely saw it as soon as it came on HBO. I was all in, and I was probably. I know I saw it with my cousins, so it was probably like a visiting in Jackson, Mississippi for something, and my cousin had cable. They had cable off up in every room. In the words of Big Boy. So So yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what I know. I saw it on HBO.
I'm with Raj. I saw it in on one of the Ted Turner networks, TBS. It's certainly not Turner Classics, although in my mind
it might be there by now. It might be there by now.
Yeah. But saw it on one of those, and again, like it's as you mentioned, Joe. Anytime at any point in the movie, it's one of those movies that you really don't have to see what comes before it to understand where you are and what it is.
Right.
The plot. I mean, and let's not. I don't want to shit on the movie because I enjoy it, but it's not a plot-driven movie by any means. Like it's not. Other than the fact that you are dealing with a man that owns a town, and
I would push back on you. In fact,
okay, push back.
I would make the argument that in fact Roadhouse was a forerunner of some of the economic inequality and many of the issues that we see today, and that Rowdy in fact was a visionary.
Okay,
think about it.
Okay,
you're talking about exploitative hypercapitalism, man who runs the town into the ground and just extracts like a vampire squid, a real estate developer, a financier. Look at him. He has this mansion. He has a helicopter. He has a monster truck. He underpays people. He steals their money.
And he got Tinker on the payroll. And Tinker's not getting paid much.
No. Come on. Look at Tinker.
Look at him. Look at
Tinker was loyal.
Got every malady, no kind of health insurance.
None.
Gets his ass beat every week. Got a pay out pocket for the band-aids.
Yes. All
no,
bad.
Raj, you're right.
And he goes up against who? But kind of a man of the earth, a philosopher,
a Zen, very, very focused.
Exactly. It's a war of two different worlds, man.
I wonder though
why
is it Dalton though that is fighting this good fight? This guy, this drifter, this soldier of fortune.
He's the anti-Rambo.
He's the anti-Rambo.
Okay.
No guns whatsoever.
None.
Eastern though in all of his philosophy, just like Rambo was very Eastern, but he was Eastern with a machine gun.
He went from a degree to a PhD in one of the things I read. They said it was a PhD from NYU. Yeah. But I thought it was more so a degree from NYU.
I thought it was a degree. I thought that Brad Wesley mentioned to him that I heard you had a degree from NYU.
Well, Kelly Lynch says it.
It was in the
when she's patching him up. Yeah, it's in his medical record.
It's always in the medical record.
I know it all. I know all of the schooling of every patient I have. I know all that they do. Yeah.
Walking for a gunshot, they'd be like, "Oh, Morehouse."
Yes, of course. Welcome.
More likely Howard, but that's fine.
As it were.
Yeah,
as it were. I'm curious about that. No, and the way Faraji said it, that is. At the time, I don't think we weren't thinking about those things, but now it's quite a prevailing notion about the hold that he had on the town and what he was trying to do with the town. But I'm just wondering, like, what in Dalton's DNA, but it could be the philosophy. What in Dalton's DNA meant he needed to fight against this guy? Like, when did we go there? When did we go there?
I feel like the backstory is hinted at, and maybe there was supposed to be a prequel here, but
yes,
Brad does mention that Dalton, I heard you killed a man down in Memphis. And I think it's escaping from some of those demons and what happened before, and this was a way to start fresh.
Yeah. So did the bouncer who clearly was related to him, like his little brother or something, who's in the film as well. It's got to be one of his brothers or cousins who are one of the bouncers. He says it. Heard he killed a man. Pulled his larynx straight out, like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But and perhaps it is the thing. And then of course the great Sam Elliott does bring it. I mean he does bring it up in the film as well.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm asking about that is because Dalton's constitution is such that he leaves.
Yeah.
But this time he stays to fight. And I'm wondering, like,
since
Raji brought that up. Yeah. Since Raji brought that up, I'm wondering, like, why? Why is he fighting?
I mean, okay, so to the point of one man, like a one-man army type deal. One man had taken over that town.
True.
So why not one man to bring him down? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that he was he recognized an evil, as it were, that was the foil to all that he had come to that point to deal with Brad Wesley, if that makes any sense.
The dark side rises and the light to meet it.
There you go. Exactly. I mean, you know, I think that he recognized that this was an untenable situation. He had befriended Red and Emmett and all the rest of these people in this town. You know what I mean? And he sees how Brad Wesley is single-handedly terrorizing all these individuals, and I guess is there to empower them more than anything else. But I think that he saw him as a match. And I think that, you know, when you recognize one as your match, you stay around and you deal with them. And so as sorts. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. But Raj, how do you feel?
That's a question. Like, what is the hold that Jasper had on this drifter? You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Jasper,
he leaves.
Missouri.
It's not like he didn't have choices. I mean, he came from, I think he was in New York, right?
Yeah, he's in New York City.
Before he came,
Yeah.
because, you know, they showed him
The beautiful Mercedes.
That beautiful 560 SEC on the camera.
Yeah.
Gosh, it was beautiful.
He had good uniforms and like, I mean, you know, it looked like he had benefits, and you know, he's doing well.
And yet he chose to come to the middle of buttfuck USA to show down, you know, kind of with a local real estate developer. It is an interesting it's an interesting choice to how to live your life. And one does wonder, like,
yeah.
What do you say? This is for me.
So let me ask this then. What little things from the film stand out to you, Raj? Like, what are the things that kind of piece this film together for you, or things that you noticed that you didn't notice the first time you watched?
You know, there's so many details. It's a detail-oriented film. You got to watch it over and over again to piece all the subtleties and the nuances. And one of the things that always strikes me, man, is how did Emmett build that delightful loft and only charge him like $50 a month or some shit like that?
First of all, I was down for the
ship.
loft. I was down for that loft. I love that loft. But it's over the barn. It's over. I mean, the horses and the pigs and all that stuff is right below. So you gotta.
I understand there's a discount to that, but still, the standard of luxury to which it was built, he must have known. He was waiting for Dalton.
He opens up the windows and you have that view of the creek or lake or whatever that is. I mean, it's just magnificent.
It is a perfect place for a man like Dalton. It was built for Dalton. Emmett knew. Yeah. Maybe he saw it in a dream. Maybe he had a vision. But he knew that a man would come to Jasper to save him.
Well, you know, Emmett
and he need a place to stay.
And
he's probably making a killing on Airbnb now, because you know that spot was very choice.
The Dalton suite, the Dalton loft.
Dalton stayed here, like the George Washington stayed here houses in New Jersey. Like you know, this is the Dalton stayed here house in Jasper, Missouri. Yeah. Joe, what about you, man? What little things are in the film stand out to you?
It's that it was 89 feel, little 80s, little 90s, a great time in America. The end of Reagan, beginning of Bush. The fashion was great. The hair. I mean, how feathered. Look behind you. Look behind you.
Oh yeah.
Look at behind Faraji. Everybody's hair is feathered. Even the really big bouncer, the really big guy, his hair is feathered. I want to know what the hairdressing line item was on this film, because there's so much. Everybody's hair is
lopping,
beautifully coiffed. and if you look at it, it's so 89. Yeah. And I don't think we realized just how those cats were looking. Now, if you think about this, he makes, Dirty Dancing. Mm-hmm. Then he makes probably something in between, but then he does this. Then his next film in 90 is up for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
For Best Picture in Ghost. And in Ghost, that mullet behind you, the long, is cut off. It's cut down.
Yeah.
Okay. So but in this film, I love the hair. Actually, we kind of talked about it in the pre-show. Ben Gazzara's clothes in this are a little thing for me. He is truly a man of that loves his outfits for his in his moods. Actually, just the things Ben Gazzara, just the things Brad Wesley has. Oh, those are the little things for me. He's got the pool. He's got the game room where he's killed all those, or he's either bought or killed all those animals.
Yes.
He's
I
got
see
the
you found my
4x4.
trophy room.
I see you found my trophy room. You know, all that. And I'm thinking, like, are we really going here? We're going to kill each other over the bar? Like, what is going on? Right? But that's for later. Sorry. But the little things for me really, really are his utter disdain for certain people in the film. I love it's Brad. I mean, the little things for me is the affectations of Brad Wesley.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Brad Wesley and then.
Okay, it's truly the affectations, and it looks like every room in his house is in a different house.
Yeah.
Every single room in his house is somewhere else. Yeah. I just want to say that. But one other little thing that I do appreciate is the way that, like, they try to bring a little bit of multiculturalism in it. Mm-hmm. In the first bar, there's a black bouncer. Mm-hmm. If you pay attention, then out of nowhere, literally nowhere, Keith David shows up as the new bartender.
Yes.
Never. He's like Winston Zeddemore in Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters. So the little bit of color that we get in Jasper, Missouri, is, I appreciate that. That was a little thing, and I like it when they elevated it, and all of a sudden it's the same place as the drawings. So those were the little things for me.
Fair enough. For me, it was the gracefulness of one Patrick Swayze. There are moments in this film where, like, I don't know if he still has some dirty dancing in him or what, man. But like,
he's a dancer. So
when he jumps out of the window after Brad Wesley explodes Emmett's house, right? When he destroys Emmett's house, he jumps out of the window of the loft, the aforementioned beautiful loft, and lands gracefully, and then does like almost a pirouette off of whatever he landed on onto the ground, and it's just like, man, come on, man, like this is Patrick Swayze. He was amazing, and then like hey Joe, I got it queued up for you. I got it queued up for you. You know what I'm talking about. I got it queued up for you a little later.
Can't wait.
But like, and there are other moments like in the fights, like just the choreography of the fights, like,
man, they were fighting, weren't they? Good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh my goodness. But like, I mean, he is so graceful in his movements, and he's doing the Tai Chi. Like it's just, yeah, man. He's just so ahead of his time.
No disrespect to Tai Chi. No.
Hey man, Tai Chi works, dude.
Yeah,
like,
no disrespect to Tai Chi.
If
there was a guy that used to do that outside of outside of Maze every morning. It was like Professor, and like people would throw apples and oranges, and I was like, y'all are the worst.
He's gonna live to be 107.
Yeah,
probably so.
Look, his mind sharp. Like, I mean, like, Dalton was in a point where, and to the point we were talking about earlier, where he probably had been through some shit. This is what centered him, and again, he's just like, I mean, like, I know it's choreographed, but it just looks so wonderful when he's fighting. It's effortless. It looks like he's using the momentum of his opponent against him. Like, yeah, it's just
because he's brilliant, because he went to NYU,
because he has a
New York, so he's smarter,
refined.
Yes, he's refined.
Yeah, so there's that,
and he speaks in maxims. He speaks in maxims.
Oh yeah, he does.
Cryptic maxims throughout the whole film.
He does.
It's like David Carradine in Kung Fu, man. He's like,
right.
He's more than a man. He's a traveling sage.
All right, he's
all these things.
He knows things. Gosh. And then there's the moment. I'm glad you mentioned it, Joe. The trophy room, like, it's just the menagerie of animals that Brad Wesley has in his trophy room. He has a polar bear.
Yeah. It's like 30 feet high, and the polar bear is like 20 feet
He has an American bison and a water buffalo, both.
Which is special.
He has a jackal and a hyena. He has every kind of animal in this menagerie. And here's a freaking giraffe. like a scale model giraffe in his menagerie. And it's just there. And he's just like, I see you've discovered my. Well, goddamn, why are you not selling tickets to this trophy?
Yeah, that should be part of the tour.
Right. I mean,
when you come to Jasper.
Exactly. When you come to Jasper, you get a ticket to Brad Wesley's menagerie.
And I know it smelled great in there. A lot of rich mahoganies and leather. I know it smelled marvelous. Yeah, leather bound, but I know it did.
Yes, seriously. Yes. So yeah, I mean, and then like it looked like his house looked like there were 8 different sets. Truly, like there had to have been 8 different sets that were Brad Wesley's homes, and various portions that it reminded me a lot of in Thief, the home that the gangster stayed in Thief. Very, just like so detached. It's wonderful, man. So those things stood out to me. Joe, because I know me and Raj have the same one. I know for sure. Who's your unsung hero of the movie?
It's probably well. I mean, the knee jerk is Wade.
Okay. Talk about Wade.
The knee jerk is Wade. I just love Sam Elliott. Okay, so he's the coolest of the cool. He knows what he's talking about. He's tough. He can fight still, even with the messed up knee or leg or whatever it is. Yeah. He taught Dalton everything he knows, but he's a father and a brother at the same time. And because of that, Wade his advice was never wrong. And if you notice, Wade had moves too, because he was definitely dancing with Kelly Lynch, doing a quick 2-step, by the way, or double shuffle, whatever that was. And so love me some Wade. However, my other one is Emmett. And my other one is Emmett. If I can,
talk about it.
101A. Emmett Gate, just for the reasons you've already mentioned, and for this Raji mentioned, Emmett had the foresight to build the loft over where the pigs live, and it was nice. It was nice. Let me tell you something. I've lived in some interesting places, and if that was on the list, I would have stayed there as well. I'd have no problem, particularly with the view, particularly there, and it came furnished. Okay,
it was waiting for you.
Yes, it definitely came. It was a full-size bed, but it was enough for him and Kelly Lynch.
Nobody had ever lived there before. Look at it.
No question. No, but Emmett had the spot. He had a squad. I mean, he had the spot. He was cool with all the town fathers, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Emmett is my and Emmett was down for him. He was
down for him.
Absolutely. And he was ready to help him out. Like, really, no question, because there's no exposition wherein we see they have conversations about what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically helps him cover up a murder. Like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Big Trouble in Little China. Jack's trying to get his truck back, and then the next day he shoots somebody with an Uzi.
Yeah. Things escalate quite quickly.
And you're like, what? This guy, no.
Right, and the next day he is in a master of the mystic arts. Like,
yes, all these things happen.
Killing Asian deities
with the knife. Yes, all in 3 days. The movie happens in 3 days. But so those it's Wade Garrett and Wade Garrett and Emmett.
How about you, Raj? Who are your unsung heroes of the film?
I actually got to go the other way on this one, and I think.
Oh yeah.
I think Jimmy is the unsung hero.
Please talk about Jimmy.
I knew Jimmy was coming.
Please talk about Jimmy. Please talk about it.
You really want to talk about that aesthetic of 1989, that perfect bridge between kind of the 80s, the 90s, and so many different kind of gender bending, fluid kind of things that just foreshadowed a whole different world.
Yes,
and Jimmy worked hard. That's one of the things, right? Jimmy was loyal.
Yeah,
he worked hard for Brad. He tried to make all the things that Brad wanted to happen,
and almost did.
There would be no JCPenney without Jimmy. I'm
sure. I'm sure he leaned on whoever he had to lean on to make it work.
He was working late into the night, kind of on that pro forma and making that deal come together on the phone with the brokers and just, he's the man behind it all.
To me, Jimmy's like a Cobra Kai character grown up. He's Dutch. He's the adult Dutch. Like,
he absolutely is.
you know, he this is what Dutch was doing all of the Cobra Kai training for, was to become Brad Wesley's henchman in Jasper, Missouri. Like this is Jimmy. This is the peak, the best case scenario of Dutch is Jimmy.
And he has the best line in the movie.
Yes, thank you. Please, yes.
Deliver it, please. Deliver it.
I'm going to give the honor to Cal.
Okay.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
It's like, what? I remember being 14, 15 when I saw that, when I heard that, like, huh? Where do we go with this?
Where do you go with it? You learn so much about this gentleman in one line. You learn so much about him.
So much.
He's been to prison. He was tough enough that he was the fucker and not the fucky.
True.
And he was proud of it.
He was.
That was a point. He was not saying that as a point of shame.
No.
He's letting him know that you think you're tough.
Habitually.
Yes.
Used to. Not one time.
Right.
Not, occasionally. I used to.
Right. In
like,
a great
I used
tradition,
to go to Starbucks.
In the great tradition of characters like Boggs from Shawshank and J.K. Simmons in Oz, you have Jimmy. Incredible. Jimmy is fantastic. That is a fantastic choice. You have any other ones, Raj?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I'll back up everything Joe said about Emmett. I mean, he is one of the linchpins of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. I love Red, but my actual
Red's great.
But my actual, and I just wanted to make sure I mentioned him. But my unsung hero is my man Tinker.
Tinker's right behind you. He's right behind you right now.
Yes. And actually, I'm
shocked we can't see him due to his
size, his
largesse.
His girth. Tinker. So,
and he's a sweater. Gosh, he's a sweater.
He's a sweater, but notably, he is not a bleeder. He is not a bleeder.
Not a bleeder.
So he's okay with him. You know what I mean? Tinker is okay with Brad Wesley. But my man Tinker. So the interesting thing about Tinker to me,
Tinker in motion.
Yeah,
you got Tinker in motion.
So the interesting thing about Tinker to me is, like, I don't know if either of you ever played Streets of Rage on the Genesis.
Hey brother. Remember when you got to the top, to the guy and to the boss? He said, "You really want to die? You really want to die, don't you?" That
was Brad Wesley. I am convinced, and I tried to look it up.
Go on the elevator,
I tried to look it up to see whether I could prove this or not. But I'm convinced that
I would love to play some Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, and particularly Streets of Rage 2, based on Roadhouse. You have the bouncers. You're fighting bouncers in bars. Okay, Axel is essentially Brad is essentially Dawson, but you fight several iterations of Tinker along the way. These guys with suspenders, these fat guys with suspenders. That you are in final fight. You're fighting these fat guys in suspenders that you're beating up all over the place. That just gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Those are Tinker. That's Tinker.
I could not think of the name of that game. So my brother was here for 4 months, and we were trying to remember the name of that game. And because I was trying to look it up, like we were going to buy the little Genesis thing, the pack.
Yeah.
And play the old games.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of the name of the game. And you just cut right through the signal of 4 months of futility for me. Thank you. By the way, 5 months really of futility. And you just said Streets of Rage, and it took me back. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how I think he got it from like one of his friends, and then we never gave it back.
Yeah. So
Streets of Rage.
I was a Nintendo brand guy. Euless Moore was a Sega guy.
Yeah, we had Sega.
Yeah, so Euless had Streets of Rage 2, and many a lost weekend was spent with Sega. He as skates, because they had the black guy in skates, right?
Yeah. At least 2 people could play it. If 2 people could play it.
Yeah. That's why we always played it. It's like we advanced from Contra to Streets of Rage 2.
Contra.
And we played Streets of Rage 2 to the point where we knew exactly what was going to happen when. But yes, Tinker played that character was based on Tinker. You can't tell me otherwise. And to the other point about how loyal he was, I mean, Tinker was the guy up to he was the last henchman taken down.
But Tinker
And
lives.
he didn't die.
He
And he
gets
lives.
off.
Yeah, and yes. He survives the polar
The
bear.
bear fall.
And didn't know what happened. What did he say? A bear. Or something like, what did he?
A polar bear fell on me.
Polar bear fell on me. And then Red just laughs.
Yeah.
That's how it ends.
Yeah.
Did you see anything? No, I didn't see anything. I didn't see nothing. Okay.
Incredible. So Tinker's my man. Tinker's my unsung hero, man. But I think this is the time where we really need to go in depth on our man Brad Wesley.
Wait, real quick.
Okay.
I want to ask this: Could we, the three of us, any of the three of us, have gone to Jasper and thrived as black men in 1989 Jasper?
Raj might have. I don't know.
I think I'm a little too uppity for that.
I just wonder, because I'm wondering, how did Keith David land there and become the bartender? I'm very curious about that.
My theory is that he was escaping Mike Milligan in Kansas City, and
Okay.
he needed a place to land.
It's like they had a network of guys,
Yeah.
like in the we're good at what we do crew.
or
They had a
maybe
network of guys.
maybe he was the Dennis Haysbert in Heat. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
I don't know, man. That's a great question, though, Joe.
Okay, it has baffled me because there were no black people ever in the Double Deuce until it got like cleaned up,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
thank
then
gosh for
everybody
that.
came. Yeah,
Thank
gosh for that. Yeah, not even black people like coming to town. All of a sudden, it's a metropolitan club like in the city. The double same place. Then they redo the whole place. So it leads. I'm gonna get to this next question later. So I'll be quiet.
They cleaned it up and they put it in the green book.
Bruh, it was like what I was saying was, if you look at the Double Deuce in the end, Raj, it is a new building.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's at least 5-6 months worth of
It got the Archer Hall redo. Like
it did. It got the entire Archer Hall redo.
Look,
5-6 months of work. It was
when you
like
don't have
Beetlejuice.
When you don't have needless regulations, you can make it.
That's
Nope.
true.
yeah,
That's
that's
true.
You don't have to pay
That's
off
a
Brad
very
Wesley.
good point. That's a
very
good
much like Houston.
Yes. Very good point. Very good
one
point.
of our finest cities. Hey, so look, let's talk about Brad Wesley. Let's unpack, because
Wow.
like me and Raj bonded in college a great deal off of our mutual love, admiration, and respect for one Brad Wesley. So much so that when the Maroon Tiger did their infamous and groundbreaking and yet to be reproduced.
Infamous?
Oh yeah, it made girls cry. I was
No,
there.
that's from Three Amigos.
Oh, okay.
Infamous?
No, fair
He didn't know what it meant. It's like, it's more than famous. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. You keep me grounded, man. Because I all right. So yes, we came up with the article we worked on together. We created a movie. I shan't say the name of this movie called Coon that we created.
To be young, black, and from modern day St. Louis. You know how much hell I caught for that line? And I didn't write it. But
No,
one
it
of the
was-
three of us on this podcast episode did. I did the typesetting. I typed it. But I didn't write it.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. But like Brad Wesley was the villain in our movie.
And Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley.
Not Ben Gazzara as any new character, but Ben Gazzara specifically as Brad
Reprising his
Wesley.
role as Brad Wesley.
Raj, what makes Brad Wesley so special to you?
There's just kind of a. So first off, that we got to give credit to Ben Gazzara for taking what could have just been a throwaway meathead, villain role and just
Mhm.
making it special, right? If you think about like Heath Ledger, kind of as the Joker,
Mhm.
kind of just biting into a role and taking all of it and making it your own. But honestly, it's the joy of villainy that makes it for me. It
He
is
is
just
gleeful. He is
sheer
downright gleeful.
glee of
Yes.
villainy, right? He's so pleased with himself. Like
He is.
all of
He's very
the
good to himself.
all of the things that he wanted in life have come to pass, and
True,
he has
true.
lived his dream.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
It's kind of like the Emperor, like in the second Death Star when he thinks he's got them all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your friends on the Endo Moon. kind of cackling and enjoying life, man. And I think that's what it was, is that joie de vivre that Brad Wesley had, man.
And everybody else, I guess, who had tried to challenge him, he'd beaten him.
Yeah, he bested all of his foes.
He took all cover.
Yes. Oh man, like, so I agree with all of that. Like, you can tell there's some clear disdain for those that helped him get to this point in the past. Like the picture, he has a picture of his grandfather in a place of prominence, you know, so that people can come and recognize, hey, this is his grandfather. He's like, oh, he was an asshole. Yeah. Like he just was, I mean, he was so hateable instantly. But also, because he was so hateable, you couldn't help but just kind of almost root for him in a way. He just was something special. I don't think, you know, I look at like Noah Cross is another example of a villain like him, but Noah Cross is pure evil, delighting in his villainy, but not gleeful. He's more kind of just like accepting the fact that he's an old perverted geezer. You know what I mean? Vin Gazzara is full of life. You know, he's dissing the music of the day. He's like, it doesn't have any heart. You know, and telling people they don't have any balls, and you know, I mean, like he's taking the world by the balls, and just you know, like he's a more fit Matt Foley, motivational speaker. Like, you know, he's just Brad Wesley is everything I've ever wanted in a movie villain. You know, Eric Killmonger is a close second to Brad Wesley. Brad Wesley still remains like, you know, he's my number one.
You know what?
Maximalism to Brad Wesley and over the topness. That's just so, you know, the helicopter,
the way he drives on the road with no regard for rules.
In a red on red Mustang.
Yes, a red on red.
The triple rojo. It's just, you know,
triple rojo.
I don't even know that it was legal.
I want to order a triple.
It is in Jasper. It is in Jasper. It's legal there.
He probably ordered it out of the JCPenney catalog since he brought
probably
it.
So. I want to say this one. I mean, I love this retrospective on Brad Wesley, because we're not alone in our affection for him and our love, or just our respect for the way he did what he did. Uh-huh. The way I've looked at Brad Wesley, he really is one of the most despicable villains that I can recall from around that time. And if you think about it, Jack Nicholson's Joker, same year. Jack Nicholson's Joker wasn't, until he was burning people with acid, he wasn't really, you know, in the face, wasn't really bad.
He was just mischievous.
Yeah, he was just mischievous. But, you know, the later Jokers, Heath Ledger, Joaquin, but really Heath Ledger, people seemed to delight in what they were doing. And when you look at villains, like when you look at the great villains, or the villains that we love to or hate to love, but also love to hate, I think a distinction can be drawn wherein someone is really miserable and they're taking it out on everybody else, or no, I am ecstatic. I love this life. I love what I'm doing. I know it's hurting you, and I don't care. When you tell them to drive the 4x4 through a Ford dealership in downtown Jasper, that's a level of hatred that very few people can attain.
Yeah.
Okay, with there's no retribution, there's no remorse. Nothing happens, and somehow Dalton is there. Somehow he just happens to be there at the parade or whatever, at the opening of the Ford dealership in his kimono shirt, whatever that was. Like, why are you there? And then they go meet at Red's house or somebody's, you know, banquet room, whatever it was, and they're talking. They're going to get it done, and then something happens and they can't get it done. Right? I mean, this guy didn't. He was unstoppable.
Yeah,
he was unstoppable, and he delighted in it. Yeah. And he loved it, and he was, you know, 15-0, or he was the USA. He was 9-1. Yeah, he was the USA. That's from Stripes. But we're the USA. He'd say we're 6-1. He's 6-1. But I'm saying that to say that even despite that, there are little endearing things, though, I think, about him, and I too wonder, how did we get here? And when did murder get on the table? Like, why is that like the natural progression of this war? And like, are there no other clubs in town? Like the Double Deuce was it wasn't even making any money. Really. It was just sitting there.
Brad Wesley was a white man in the 80s who wanted something and was deprived of it.
He controlled the liquor, right?
Yeah.
The liquor distribution.
Yeah.
He made sure, but we don't have the exposition on Brad Wesley. Is he connected to the Chicago outfit? Is he part of some St. Louis mafia outfit? How is he so connected? What is he? Is he a friend of ours? Is he a friend of ours? How is he here like this, operating in this town, running this town like this? I'm at a loss.
We need Rowdy Harrington here to let
I need him here so bad. Is he alive? Is Rowdy alive? Because if he is, I'm tweeting.
Rowdy's somewhere. He's.
But he didn't write it. So to me, that's my thing about Brad. I need to know, like, how did we get there, and when was it okay? And the scene when he comes back to the Double Deuce and he's sitting there and it's like cleaned out. And he's just there to and Jimmy's there to fight Dalton. It's like, what are you doing? You got a yard. We could have done this at your yard. We could have done this like right outside your pool. Why is this happening in the Double Deuce?
Why does this have to happen right here, right now? Like,
you know what? I forgot my other unsung hero is Jeff Healey, and I can't think of his name. Because he's the silent truth.
I think they played themselves. I think they were the Jeff Healey band in it.
Yeah, they are the Jeff Healey band. But when he says, "Hey, brother," he just gives him the what's. It's kind of like what Ron in Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
They call me Ron now. What's his name? What's his name?
The guy from the bar, from the club.
No, from the club. Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Sasso. They
That's
call me
Sasso.
Ron, but Sasso keeps telling Carlito what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's not listening.
He's not listening.
But Dalton was listening to Jeff.
Yeah.
And on the silent members of the Jeff Healey band who are just going like this. so they wouldn't get paid. Right. Yeah. So those are my questions about Brad Wesley. But I love the character because he's just so deceitful and just devious.
Yeah.
And he's fighting just to fight. Like he's bored. There's nothing else to do.
But he just enjoys it. I mean, we know people like this. That just enjoy fighting.
He has the talent. It's just about the principalities.
Can we talk about the party on the lawn at the beginning?
Yeah.
The introduction to Brad Wesley.
Yeah.
And the guy,
his decadence. His decadence.
Dancing.
Just, I mean, like Brad Wesley is just like, I mean, he's like Gatsby almost in a way. Like,
it was very Gatsby-ish. I'm almost positive Gatsby was definitely an inspiration for that specifically, that scene. And I'm not talking about like Gatsby in any of the 4 or 5 movies. I'm talking about like a house.
The novel.
It was kind of the actual house, like an okay sized house, and there were like 100 people there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking like 8.
And just having a party for the sake of having a party. Right? Yeah. I mean, because they just finished party. After party, the after hour spot was Brad Wesley's house, as it were. I mean, I want to jump into the nitpicks because I have a nitpick. It's not an extreme nitpick, but this is something that has bothered me for a long time. So there's a moment when during the period of time where Dalton is cleaning house and he's seeing who's who and what's what and firing people, and he walks into a room where Steve is throwing some shit. And Steve is butt naked.
He watches Steve and smiles.
I'm going to give you a TMI moment. The statute of limitations has long been passed on this, so I can reveal. I have had relations at one of my workplaces before.
Good for you.
Thank you. Good for you. I did not fully disrobe at any point in time. This man was buck naked in a back room.
Steve did not care. Steve was uncaring.
That was the point.
That was
how little respect he had for his job.
Yes.
I'm
on my break. I'm on my break.
Didn't even have the decency to just drop a little trout. Like he was like, I'm going full butt naked, pants around my.
Then he pulls up the tidy whities. Like after. Unlike Jimmy McNulty, he didn't keep going.
Right.
Jimmy
Wait,
McNulty.
Jimmy, just hold a badge up and like, yeah, I'm mid-stroke. Like,
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere.
Steve, man, like, how degenerate must you be? To
Oh,
reach the
Steve
point
didn't
of-
care. He'd already said, what if they call my mama a whore? Is she? So he was already like up. He was already up here. An hour or two later, you're gonna be my Saturday Night Thing. You're gonna be my Saturday Night Thing, girl. My Saturday Night Thing.
And he was balls deep, man. He was, hey, look. My man Steve. What nitpicks do you have, Raj, for the movie? What things it just are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of pick apart a movie that's this perfect, because even the imperfections kind of create the perfection of it. Golly, I think if there's one thing that could be improved, it would have been more Tinker. He's like the cowbell of this whole thing. Like, I
gotta have more Tinker.
Got a fever. The only prescription is more Tinker.
Indeed. Joe, what about you, man? What kind of
murder? Why do we
let's
have
talk about
murder?
Because Brad Wesley runs the sheriff. There is no accountability in this town.
So why burn down Red Spot? Then if you burn down Red Spot, you don't get paid by Red anymore. Right? He was still paying you. Okay? He was still paying him. They burn down the spot. They blow it up. It is what it is. They send a sign. But that's somebody who was paying you for protection. Like
Yeah.
So why
it kind of defeats the purpose of protection when you're the person.
Yes. Yeah. I don't mean like he's behind, so we busted out, and it's not like the Mambo Room in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I'm not saying one of those, but I'm just saying, like, why do it like that? First of all, don't understand that. Then let's get to murder. Him and Jimmy on the him and Jimmy on the dock. Or not the dock, fighting on the banks there.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Kelly Lynch is there. She sees it. Sees him pull the larynx. There it is. That's the JCPenney line. The larynx, pulls the larynx out, and then what did he drag him over or pushes him out in the water, like
throws him into
the water, over to the other side. He's killed a man again.
Yeah. not just in Memphis, now also in Jasper.
No one has come to the house because Emmett is the man. Okay, that's why no one has come to the house. And Brad Wesley didn't even call the cops.
Brad Wesley is the law there.
That's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are there cops?
They show up. They show up at the end. They show up in the end, like 30 squad cars for Jasper. Show up at the end.
County cars.
Probably so.
Town.
Yeah, I don't think those were Jasper cars.
That's true.
But state police.
So the nitpick for me was, how did we get to murder? Like, how did we get there? I could see like beating him up, like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Or the question is, someone's going to have to die for us to stop, because I'm just going to keep fighting you until someone dies. And if that was the case, then of course we got to get to murder. So
they didn't really build to that. They did not build.
No, they had tension from the moment they saw each other. Yeah. Like Jimmy, I don't know, it was the law of attraction or what? I don't know. But the way Jimmy looked at him in Red's store at the Napa Auto Parts, the way Jimmy looked at him the first time, it was on. Okay. Yeah. And Dalton had enough spidey sense to know, okay, this guy, he's bad news. So those are, I don't know why we catapulted 0 to 60, 0 to 90, okay, to murder. I will never understand that, how we got there. I can understand it for Brad Wesley in the end, no problem. Mm-hmm. But why did Jimmy have to die? Well, I'm sorry. I'm there. That's where I am. And why did Dalton have to kill Jimmy? Because to me, that he's gone against all these Eastern principles. He's gone against everything.
Yeah. Why was it Jimmy that pushed him to the murderous point again?
Right.
Which brings up the point. I mean, how much are these Eastern principles, kind of really truly held, or how much are they, how much is he just a murderer? He murdered a man in Memphis, murdered a man in Jasper with all manner of alternatives.
With his hands. Yes.
Maybe
you see, he was contemplating doing it to Brad.
He thought about it.
He had his hands in the position.
That was
always there.
First go-to. He always leads with murder.
It's murder is the first choice, and anything else is an alternative. I love it, man. Joe, what's your favorite moments or lines in the movie, man? What are the things that you enjoyed?
What aren't my favorite? Early in the film, Carrie, played by Kathleen Wilhoit, who I first knew from Campus Man. Very good call. You should look that up. A nice little HBO film from like '85 or so. She says, it's a great line. Don't worry about Morgan. He was born an asshole and just grew bigger. I thought that was
my man Terry Funk. My man Terry. Hey, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry, Joe.
Please do.
You just reminded me. So, around this time, '89, Terry Funk was in this film, right? And then Ric Flair has a seminal match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in Nashville, Tennessee, my now home. They fought to they had an hour-long time limit. They fought for 59 minutes before Ric Flair ultimately defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and they shook hands afterward. It was a very sportsmanlike thing, right? But if it had gone the entire time, there would have been a vote from judges, and one of the judges was some wrestling commissioner somewhere. One of the judges was Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years, the big brother from the Wonder Years, and one of the judges was Terry Funk. And so Terry Funk then comes and congratulates Ric Flair. He's like, that was a great match, and he's like, I just wanted to know if I could be your number one contender after this match. It was a great match, and Ric Flair's like, well, no, Terry, you've been in Hollywood. There are a lot of other people that are contenders for this belt, and it just wouldn't be right. And Terry's like, I just really want to be. And then ultimately he pile drives Ric Flair through a table and inserts himself into the wrestling scene. But I bring it up to say it was not until like several months ago that I realized that the time in Hollywood he was talking about was filming Roadhouse. This is when Terry Funk was filming Roadhouse. This is when the Roadhouse led to one of the greater feuds in WCW, the annals of WCW history. When Terry Funk,
I'm sure a few of those same guys were up for heavies or toughs in this film.
Absolutely.
And if you notice, the night he gets fired is the same night. The night Terry Funk's character gets fired, he's also on the lawn at that Gatsby party with Brad Wesley, like down his pants are down up by his shins, and he's jumping in the pool.
Yeah.
With a woman hanging off of him.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this turned out to be an okay day for you. Like, you
Morgan,
got a job.
You landed on your feet, Morgan.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
All right, I stepped all on your favorite moments. What else, Joe? What else?
No, so the party was definitely one of my favorite moments.
Okay.
Also, when he says the name is Dalton.
Yes. When Jeff Healey,
Jeff Healey says that the name is Dalton. Any scenes with him and Kelly Lynch, which were great. Like I said, I watched it on HBO.
A lot of chemistry there.
Yeah, any of those scenes were wonderful. Also, when Brad Wesley basically runs him off the road.
Yes.
I loved that because it just showed he had just a total wanton disrespect.
Yeah.
For anyone else.
While listening to 50s bebop music.
Yeah. And then my last favorite moment probably was when Wade Garrett shows up and there's in the fight in the back, and then Wade just shows up. Miho just shows up.
Yeah.
It just starts wrecking shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Even like the one when he has like the one fist up, and he's doing like one fist. He's just doing this. Yeah. It's like this English quarters fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody out of Sherlock Holmes.
I'll give you a rap about the old Jack Johnson.
Yeah. I got Jack Johnson
and John Dempsey. Jack Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey and Jack Johnson ready for you. No, yeah, that's what it seemed like. But no, love that. Those are my scenes. It's a lot.
Rise, what about you? Scenes or lines? What do you like?
So yeah, I mean, I think the classic Brad Wesley is really the Tinker and O'Connor kind of,
Yes.
Because he's, it's this slow buildup, like he didn't have to go through all that, but it's relishing in the moment and the villainy of it all, right?
Yes.
Talking about like, all these tangents. He's a bleeder.
You disgust me.
That's right. But in the small kind of, the teeny little emotions.
Yeah.
There's, kind of when he's flying over Emmett's farm just to fuck with the horses in his helicopter.
He does that just to piss me off.
And, you brought J.C. Penney to this town, and yet you're still so petty that you will fly over a farm of horses just to cause him pain.
Incredible. All right, my underlines. So the first line that I really enjoy is when he turns down the lidocaine shot, which I to this day I've never had a patient turn down the lidocaine when I've had to stitch them up or staple them. And she says he's like, it didn't hurt. He's like, pain don't hurt. So pain don't hurt is doesn't
that sound like Clubber Lang?
It does. It's very Clubber-esque. Woman, hey woman.
Rocky jumps in like, what?
How dare you talk to Adrian that way? My second one, Raj already mentioned, the classic Jimmy line. I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Should be in the Smithsonian somewhere.
Wade, when he's introduced to Kelly Lynch's character, to Doc, and sees her voluptuousness, as it were, and he says, she's got entirely too many brains to have an ass like that. That's when I knew Wade was a real one. So many great lines in this film, man. I mean, again, to Raj's point, man, anytime Brad Wesley's on screen, man, it's just like, I see you've discovered my trophy room. He's like, I've always wanted to fight you, Dalton. And then the other thing, the little line that just kind of is a through line throughout the film. I always thought she'd be a little bigger. Every time anybody saw Dalton, it's like, I love that aspect of it. It's just, it's a great quotable movie. Lots of good moments, lots of good scenes, man. So finally, we get to the point where we ask Raj, where does this movie rank for you? We purposely leave this segment very vague.
So like in Wedding Crashers, when they have rules, they just rule 32. Don't do that. They just say these rules randomly. This is the rankings. The rankings are whatever your rankings are.
Yeah.
Have at it. Austin.
Have at it.
Yeah, all time. I think this is about a 17, maybe somewhere between say nice. Face Off and I don't know.
Oh,
which deserves certainly its own episode, because in many ways Brad Wesley was the forerunner of Castor Troy.
Yes.
I can see Zest for life and villainy.
Yes, I can see that.
I could eat a peach for hours.
Yeah. And obviously Point Break, another Patrick Swayze classic. So
true.
I think 17 is about a good all time.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have any other rankings that you want to place this film, or how about you, Joe? Where does it rank for you?
Man, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Patrick Swayze film, which isn't tough to, that's not surprising. Because we're actually talking about the film. I mean, come on. So it's my favorite Patrick Swayze film. I'm looking at, I just want to say this real quick. I'm looking at his, his run. And I first I first knew him from Red Dawn. And that's when he became the homie in Red Dawn. Sure. But I was trying to remember, like, when did I first get it? And because it wasn't Dirty Dancing. Like, when did I first know of Patrick Swayze? Because it was something in action, and I was like, what action film is that about? But it was Red Dawn. Which
Not The Outsiders?
Nah.
Okay.
That was two-way. Two-way.
Okay.
But Red, and it was greasy, and they weren't. It just wasn't. That wasn't for me. So it just wasn't. So
gotcha.
so that's not when I first knew of him. I first knew him Red Dawn, 84. But anyway, this ranks as one of my favorite anytime. It's in the top 10 of anytime movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's my favorite Patrick Swayze movie, and I love Ghost. I do love Ghost, but it's my favorite Patrick Swayze, but probably more for Demi. I love Ghost, especially like 1990 to me. Yeah. I put it at top 10 watch anytime at any point. Your Shawshank, your Glory, your Malcolm X. I know it's going to happen, but I've got to watch it, to watch some little thing every other, just to see something else going on. So it's one of those top 10 re-watchable films for me.
Yes. For me, it is. It's not my favorite Patrick Swayze film. That would be probably
Next of Kin.
No, thank you, Joe. No, it's probably Dirty Dancing. I try as I might, I still have a very soft spot in my heart for Dirty Dancing.
She's like the wind.
It's coming. But it certainly is my favorite Braves Rain Out movie. If the Braves are rained out, I am pulling for Roadhouse to be played. My
favorite. That's a whole new topic. My favorite Braves Rain Out movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
Brad Wesley is my favorite movie villain. So there's that.
Cool.
There's that. Cool. And just generally like to both of y'all's points, is like one of those movies I can just watch anytime, no matter what point it's at. It's rewatchable. It's that kind of movie. So Joe, for you, two quick things about. I always interject things about my sisters. So Nina or Shay, I can't remember which one, wanted me to point out that they are confusing, much like I'm confusing them now. Confuse Patrick Swayze for Kurt Russell very frequently.
I can see that.
They get their movies confused and yada yada.
It's funny we mentioned Big Trouble in Little China too. Yeah. I could definitely see. Well, it's the hair.
Yeah, it's the hair. It's definitely the hair.
It's definitely the hair. And if you think about it, they have the same hair. Big Trouble in Little China, and which, if I'm not mistaken, was 90. I got to look that up. Maybe
no.
Was it earlier?
It was earlier. It was 87.
88. It was 87.
87, 88. 87, 88. Yeah.
So they have the exact same hair. I mean, the exact same hair in both films. So that would be easy to figure out. Easy to confuse.
But the other point to bring in and Shay up is, they love when you sing. And so, Joe, for you.
Oh no, what?
For you.
I'm so afraid. She's like the wind. I have no thing for you.
I don't want us to get. I got to turn it off before we get
the FCC comes in.
FCC, Raj, do you have thoughts on She's Like the Wind?
So emotional.
Over Jennifer Grey in the Catskills. It's a young old man with only a dream.
So Joe, for you, I looked up some things about She's Like the Wind because I always want to impress.
Please, go, let's go.
So initially, he wrote this song for a different movie altogether.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand. That makes sense. But the question is, which film?
Because it won't make sense when I tell you which film.
Well, who wrote it?
Patrick Swayze. Oh, this is Patrick Swayze's his song altogether. Okay. His song. He wrote it for another film that he was in with a young man by the name of Rob Lowe, where they're playing hockey players.
Youngblood.
This is Youngblood, and it was outright rejected for the soundtrack for Youngblood.
It's like 4 years before. It's like 3-4 years before it, because Youngblood was like 84, 85. Maybe it was
something like that. 86.
That's what's her name? Who's the girl in that? Gosh, I remember Youngblood. I it made you want to play hockey, but I'm like a kid.
I didn't want the vicious head injuries from Youngblood. Raj, have you seen Youngblood?
I have not.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
congratulations for us.
It's
young Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze and Ice and
vicious head injuries.
It's not Slapshots. I can tell you, or Slapshots. Excuse me. I can, and it's not the Mighty Ducks.
Rob Lowe is also an underappreciated person of our time. Like,
yes, he is.
Don't give him his flowers.
Well,
his virulent
the 88 Democratic Convention,
and then that conservative slant he took a little later, talking smack to Cam Newton about Tom Brady. That kind of I was like, shut up. Yes, no, but he's had a career.
Yeah.
Okay, that man's had a career.
Yeah.
I don't even know how else to say it. Other than a true to life career.
Yeah, he was in the Brat Pack. He is. He's a Brat Pack member.
Did you ever read about that? About how that went down? Like,
yeah,
they were too young to really know that everything they were saying was like on the record.
Yeah,
and it was really a betrayal.
Yeah,
and they hated, obviously hated that moniker and that whole thing, and it's not like
that's not something they wanted, and not something that they really.
But it helped the ticket sales though,
sure.
and it helped people go to see their other movies. But I when I read that, I was like, what?
It wasn't what I wanted. Oh, I'm sorry.
It wasn't.
I'm sorry, Joe.
It wasn't. What are you sorry for?
I'm sorry. I keep bringing these references to Godfather sequels into our.
You do. 3. That's the first time you brought 3 up, by the way. It was not what I wanted. He stops.
He stops. Oh man! All right,
because it hurt. I mean, it hurt him. He just had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Don't make that order again. That kind of order again. Not while I'm alive. No, never. It was never make that. And everybody agrees. And he looks at Connie. She looks away.
Zaza.
All right.
So Raj, we really appreciate you, man. This is everything. Everything I thought it would be and more.
And much more. And so much more.
This is an honor for me, fellas. Thank you so much.
We will have you back, Raj. And
yes.
Even if it's just me and you talking about Point Break.
No, I'll watch Point Break for you.
Okay.
I wasn't ready tonight, but I will watch Point Break for you, that I will do. And for you, I will. Monica.
So I'm writing down.
I think there's some parallels between Brad Wesley and Bodie that we need to kind of really tease out here.
Bodie. Did you ever see Solar Babies?
Oh, of course.
Bodie was the name of Bodie or Bodie.
It was Bodie.
What was that about? What was Solar Babies really about?
Solar Babies was about cocaine and the fact that they could make movies. Let's just make.
Raj, did you see Solar Babies?
I did not.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, you gotta see it.
It is the weirdest.
You gotta see it.
It is the.
It's the 80s. It's the 80s.
Truly, if you could say, it's like if you watch The Wiz, like there's cocaine. Cocaine has something to do with this.
Yeah.
Solar Babies, and that was like 79. Imagine 10 years of the cocaine. Yeah. And then we're just in a modernistic dead tech world in the desert.
Jamie Gertz and Jason Patric.
Jason Patric and Jamie Gertz, and then a young Lucas Haas.
Yes.
As well as the seems like their child. And then the brother from Hiding Out.
Hiding Out, John Cryer. Yeah, good.
Yeah, the one black guy in the movie. And Hiding Out. He was also in that film. But so what? I think we know what's next. Or what do you want to do next?
No,
it's on you.
It's on you.
It's on you.
It's on you. So me?
Everyone falls.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And love sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, I don't know. It depends. It's up to you.
No, I'm ready for it. I think the world's ready for it because we're gonna do something we haven't done as yet, which we should have done for a while, and interject some estrogen into the whole mix here.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm with it. And our guest is ready for that.
Oh, she's ready. She's born ready.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So next week, guys, hey, look.
And I thought of another guest who's a woman as well to review something with us.
Okay.
Which Lee Davenport, she got a new show. I think it's called Sister. No, it's not called that. She got a new show on Stars. Okay. She's the executive producer for Phenomenal 5.
Oh, I know who Lee. You telling the audience because yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. So Lee. So I gotta think of a movie And it doesn't have to be.
I mean, because we have another female, another young lady. I hate using the term female. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You're not in the hospital. Or,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another woman that we have on the slate for another movie we're coming up with in another LA movie, as it were. So,
of course, the season of Los Angeles films.
Yeah, but let's all right. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do Waiting to Exhale. Terry McMillan's. It's funny. The person that I have for that future film, and I we have a Terry McMillan. Yes, way you. Yes. I know that soundtrack like this part, like the back of my hand. But yeah, so the person that we're having for another film later on, that LA film that I don't want to mention as yet, we both were blocked by Terry McMillan in the same night on Twitter. So, yes, I can't wait to tell that story. Can't wait.
That's a beautiful distinction.
Yeah. She has a blue check mark now, so but yeah. So anyway,
blocked by Terry McMillan.
By Terry McMillan on Twitter in the same night. We kind of went in on her for a little while about one of her other books/films, and she did not take kindly to the things we had to say about it. So
got it. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Twitter fingers. Anyway. Guys, this has been the Open Tabs Podcast. I'm Calvin Smith. He's Joe Carlos and the great Faraji Whaling. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week with Waiting to Exhale.
Peace.